It's the final day of the 2018 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship from Swan River, Manitoba. Good morning, fans. Matt Cullen alongside three-time Canadian medalist Neil Houston. And Neil, this is what we've all been waiting for, the semifinals. 4 teams remaining, and on Sheet E, we'll take a look at Team Quebec, undefeated so far against the team from Newfoundland and Labrador. Let's start with Team Quebec. They've pretty much done everything so far. They've held the lead, they've rallied to win, they've scored on their last rocks. The only thing they haven't done is lose. But this will be a tough test for them.
They should be well versed in what's going on. They've played on Sheet E here. They've got last rock advantage in the first end due to their 10-0 record being greater than Newfoundland's record. Newfoundland's got to be careful not to get down too far because Quebec is a very powerful team when they have the lead and they're able to peel very efficiently. So Newfoundland's going to have to be on top of their game to keep this close.
And Team Newfoundland and Labrador, Chris Ford out of St. John's. They've done nothing but surprise, but definitely the toughest game for them so far. How do they keep with Quebec?
They're going to have to be playing very well. They're going to have to make very few mistakes, keep the game close, hope for a break here and there, and get it down to last rock where they can have a chance to win this game.
It's the 1 versus 4 semifinal on Sheet E. Let's meet the teams. The team from Quebec out of Chicoutimi. Lead Véronique Bouchard, second Thierry Fournier, third Amélie Blais, and the skip Robert Desjardins. For Robert, this is his first Canadian Mixed Championship. He's been in the Brier a few times. A 10-0 start for the Team Quebec. They've been terrific, Neil.
They have. They've played very well all week. They've had a strong game plan. They've executed it, and I suspect that they'll come out with the same plan today, which is to get a lead at some point and then run you out of rocks.
Team Newfoundland and Labrador out of the Remax Center in St. John's. Lead Kate Murphy, second Zach Young, third Brooke Goslin, and their skip Chris Ford. Ford has been to the Mixed Canadian Championship once before. That was in 2016 in Toronto. He finished just 2-4 that year. He didn't make the championship pool, but he does have some national experience, winning the CIS University Championship in 2011. Top 4 in our semifinal. We've got Quebec and Newfoundland and Labrador. And obviously Newfoundland and Labrador are getting in on the head-to-head tiebreak over Nova Scotia. And then on Sheet C, we'll have Ontario and New Brunswick. We'll keep a close eye on that as well.
And that should be a barn burner of a game as well. They both play similar styles, so I suspect that both games will be very close today.
Quebec has won last rock in the first end, so Team Newfoundland and Labrador will take a look at Kate Murphy, originally from Nova Scotia. Both her and Brooke Goslin, the third, are from the Annapolis Valley, Halifax area. Attended Memorial University, and that's how this team all got to know each other.
Let's get that line down. No, you wait. Let's go.
And if you're just joining us, a reminder, games in the Mixed Championship are just 8 ends. And a slight advantage maybe to Quebec, Neil, as the first seed, they were able to choose whatever rocks they wanted for this game.
Yeah, they got first choice of what rocks they wanted off of the 2 sheets, D and E, adjacent to each other. And they did make a few switches. And Newfoundland, conversely, they chose to take all yellow stones from Sheet E. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any differences and advantages for either team given what they did.
Quebec with the red stones, Newfoundland and Labrador with the yellow, and we're underway. 4 teams left. Trying to book a spot in this afternoon's gold medal game to become the Canadian Mixed Champion.
C'est un spot qui déboule quasiment. Ça devrait pas coller des masses. Va glisser. Elle est bonne. Y'a du danger. Elle glisse bien. Y'a du danger.
You know, all week long we've seen Quebec really play to their opponent. They've been in 5 one-point games. They have 10 wins, 5 of them by just 1 point. Once they get a lead, they're very tough to beat.
Yes, that's exactly right. And you look at the styles they're playing right now. Newfoundland put up a very good centerline guard. Robert went out to the wing, which is a conservative play, and here's Newfoundland trying to utilize that guard. So Newfoundland and Labrador recognizes the strategy that Quebec wants to play, and they're trying to get them out of that comfort zone.
That's good. Let it go. That's good. Brook in, Brook in. Yep, hard, hard. Hard to get by. Hard to get by. Hard, 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 hard. Go, 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 go. Get a shot, get a shot. Full go.
These two teams have met once before, but it was all the way back in draw 2 on the second day of this tournament, and it was a 4-3 win for Team Quebec, jumping out to a 3-0 lead. And we mentioned how good they are with the lead. They were able to hang on, but barely, just by a single point.
Ready, bro? Juste la ligne! Ami en premier. Juste la ligne.
Kate Murphy made a really good shot on her second one. This has been a tricky sheet of ice, so for her to get buried in behind that guard in the first end is the first time we've seen this all week. And it may have a little bit to do with her throwing the left-handed intern in her case.
Ça, j'ai dit, reste proche, Ami. Pas méchant, là. Nice shot. Pas méchant.
That was Bouchard's second shot.
This way, at least then it jams. Head for a little bit open. Okay, all right.
Zach Young, a former Canadian inter-university sport champion, now known as U Sports, of course.
Yep. It's normal.
Won in 2011 with the skip, Chris Ford. Zach was a second on that men's team.
Line's close.
Yep.
Yep.
Hard line.
Hard.
Hard line.
Hard.
Hard line.
Hard.
Hard line.
Hard.
Hard line.
Yep, keep going. Keep going.
Hard.
Hard. Hard. Hard.
Hard.
Hard.
Zach, which is just a few feet light as compared to where he wanted that rock to stop. And this may give Quebec a chance to make a double and start building up a multi-point end.
Au jeu normal, on va essayer de gagner ton shooter pareil, OK? OK. Normal. Je pense qu'elle va bouger un peu à cette place-là.
Thierry Fournier.
Yep.
Normal up!
Yes. Zéro! Zéro! Whoa! Perfect shot.
Good save.
Amazing. Un peu fort.
Gets one and a biter.
Mais elle a vraiment
Fournier does the job.
It's a very good shot for his first one of the game, and it puts
we gotta
Newfoundland and
hit now,
Labrador
Chris.
in a bit of a jam.
Yeah.
Normal.
Thick half, yeah?
Yep.
C'est quand même surpris les scores, je suis là. Easy. Peel!
Yep.
Oh.
Nose hit for Zach Young.
C'est bon?
Ouais.
Normal? OK. Moins fort que l'autre.
At least he kept his shooter around, which is going to make Quebec make a play on this rock. And the higher it goes, the better chance that if they hit and stay like Robert has asked Thierry to make, that Newfoundland will have a chance to make a double or hit and roll in front of the shot rock or behind the guards.
Hard. Really hard. Harder. Hard. Whoa. Whoa.
OK. Good save, though.
Plus tannant parce qu'il frappe un peu. Il peut l'écouter avant de mettre.
Brooke Goslin played in the Mixed Canadian Championship last year.
Yep. Oh.
Whoa.
Clean.
No, no, no.
Go, Kate. Yep.
Kate.
Hard, Kate.
They get one at the back.
Got caught in that straight spot. It looks like it's still in play. So now that really gives Quebec an opportunity to come in with the outturn. If they can get a little bit covered around that yellow guard, they're in very good shape to score a multi-point end.
L'option, c'est top 12.
It's going to force Newfoundland into making probably 3 quality shots on their last 3 rocks at this end to get out of this end without giving up too many points.
Amelie Blais, third time in the Canadian Mixed Championship.
Looks heavy.
No,
no, tiens, rien, c'est pas
c'est
ça.
fort.
New member of this team has
Back
been an
forward,
instant
danger.
fit,
Back,
according to Robert Desjardins, the skip.
Ah, on va croiser les doigts, là. Scroller pour laisser un doute
Back,
facile.
Yeah,
crossing their fingers.
Non, 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 non.
This one looks a little deep, which is not what you want when you have the chance to get in front of the tee line.
OK, Amé.
Now Newfoundland and Labrador can play a little hit and roll in front of the shot rock. They can throw a draw in there and start eliminating
What's that?
those three counters that Quebec presently has.
I like playing back to those.
Yeah, there. You're a little bit heavy. I guess we got the bit of backing.
I think we gotta go.
Line's fine. Lots of line.
Line's good.
Lots of line.
Caden.
Kate, lots of line. We're there. Right off.
Okay, we gotta go back then. We're wide.
We're back. Right off.
Kate,
Where is it? Where is it?
just back to it.
Oh, what was that? Got a bend. Got a bend.
And that's a little bit of misjudging by the sweepers. They didn't have to jump that rock. They took it offline, straightened it out so it never got to a point where it could curl in front of those red ones.
Wait.
Sois, voilà. Sois, joue ça.
Could hear Ford saying, "Where is it?"
J'aime bien.
And the sweepers didn't know either.
They didn't communicate it. They could be a little bit of case of the moment getting to them, a little bit of nervous reaction because they are looking at three.
Let's go.
And now if Emily makes this shot, it'll put Quebec in a really good position.
Ouais, des bons.
Oh, attends, c'est large.
Juste la ligne, Bob.
Non.
Vous avez
non,
quoi?
non, c'est large. C-line.
Elle va passer plus serrée, elle va ralentir un peu.
Reste proche. Reste proche.
Ouais.
Non, non,
Back four.
Back four. On est freeze.
On est dans les rouges. Aïe, aïe.
And when a spot is so straight as it is there, it's very easy for the rock to glide 5 or 6 feet further than it would if it had to curl. So if that rock had been top 4 foot, even though Newfoundland and Labrador would be second shot, it would maybe provide Quebec with the opportunity on Robert's shots to get to it and score a big end. But now that it's behind the tee line, we'll see if the sweepers have learned from the first rock, because all they have to do is get it to back 4 foot in that pocket, and they're going to eliminate all 4 of those red rocks, because there's not going to be enough rocks for Robert left to throw to eliminate them all and score a big end.
Chris Ford, former Canadian University champion,
Where?
Up.
Okay, leave
skip for Team Newfoundland and Labrador.
Leave it.
How's
Clean.
line?
Keep it clean.
How's line?
Clean, just leave
Keep
it.
a broom down.
There.
Keep a broom down.
Clean, leave it. Just right off.
Well, let's get a little roll off that yellow,
You're
B.
getting it. You're getting it.
Great.
Using with shot rock.
That was a good way. The sweepers showed good patience. They've learned from the rock previous that the stone had plenty of weight to get there. So don't touch it, don't take it offline, and use those rocks behind the tee line to your advantage.
C'est ça
Dans
comme
le
passer.
pied des cas, c'est ça.
Un gars le freeze ici.
Ouais.
OK, c'est vite.
Oui, c'est rapide ici.
2 stones for Desjardins. How does he approach this?
He's going to have to come down to that shot rock. There's probably not much chance that he's going to be able to loosen up all those rocks behind the Newfoundland and Labrador shot rock to allow him for a major shot for a bunch of points. So now he's got to get this one on the tee line and start the process of potentially having a shot at 2, because they are shrinking the scoring area in the 4 foot down quite a bit.
Je la lance pas finalement. OK. OK, where you
Reste
going?
proche. Proche.
Back four.
Yep.
La ligne est correcte, Amé.
Oh,
Comme
yes.
ça, toi.
Yes.
Yep, line.
Yes. Oh.
Hard line.
trying to keep it straight.
Véro en premier.
Go far! Go,
Tom
go,
Bouton.
go! Hard!
Tom
Past the
Bouton,
guard.
get a shot. Come on, get it there. Come on, Chitties, get it there.
Good sweep.
We're good?
Hard sweep for Bouchard and Fournier into the top four.
Good sweeping. They
Okay.
had to get more than half that rock in the forfeit to be shot rock,
I don't think
or
so.
else it would have been very difficult in his last rock to even score. Now Newfoundland and Labrador has to make some sort of a good decision, try and hold Quebec to just an opportunity to have that one as a counter, not get 2 points.
You can do this if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just don't want to.
that's tough to get. I think that jam's always on it if you wing it down.
Yeah, he would have to get here, nose, to do it, and that's really tight to that red. That's really playing with
Yeah.
that. I don't think he's gonna. Well, he might, but
Okay.
okay. Yeah, you got it.
Chris Ford likes the decision. What do you think?
Looks like he's just going to plug off the avenue on the intern side for Robert to draw to the forefoot for his 2 points. The draw here is going to be difficult for two. It's possible to get to the tee line, but he's going to have to be very close to the shot rock. So Robert's not going to be in any danger of giving up any points, but the deuce is going to be a difficult shot for them. If Chris can put this and cover the forefoot, maybe cover a little bit of that raise, but I think it's behind the guard enough that that's too difficult to bump back as well.
Final stone for Chris Ford.
Where is it?
Oh, it's close.
Really out there. You got to curl. Stay close for line.
Stay close.
Yeah.
No, we're not.
Yeah. Hard.
Yep.
Hard.
We're down. We're down. We're down. We're down.
Hard. Okay, well,
It's fine.
It's a good shot. They were actually trying to get in there first, but the first rock of the game out there, it was a guess at the ice and the weight, and he missed it the right way.
Ouais.
That does take a little bit more of the forefoot away that Robert has to draw to, so I expect that Emily is going to have him come down on the outturn side.
sinon t'as les hit and roll.
Quel tu préfères, toi, Thierry?
À droite,
Là, là.
avec 30, parce
On
qu'à
s'approche.
35, on est limite.
OK. On essaie de même, Abby.
Même chose?
T'avais quel balai tantôt? OK. So be close. C'est basically un T-line. Si on brosse pour la ligne pour passer proche de l'autre, c'est parce qu'on l'a fait.
OK.
Oui, t'es beau! Assis pour la ligne.
Final stone, Team Quebec.
Line's good. Stay close.
Parle-nous du poids.
Stay
Get line,
close.
gotta go line.
Yep.
Hard line!
Whoa. Yes.
Whoa, whoa,
Yes.
step
Yes.
up.
Yes. Yes.
Hard line! Gotta go hard!
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Véro! Véro!
Whoa, fort,
Whoa,
fort, fort, fort.
whoa!
Fort.
Die! Die!
Great shot.
We good?
Two.
Lots of talk. Looks like it's 2 for Quebec.
It is a really good shot. He got past his own shot rock, got to the tee line, back to that yellow one. And they played a very good end, and they were fully deserving of scoring 2 points.
Might have been a tad of uncertainty at the very end for the sweepers, but it all works out for Robert Desjardins. Team Quebec, good first end, up 2-0. Welcome back to Swan River, Manitoba, home of the 2018 Canadian Mixed Championship. This is the semifinal. Quebec, seed number 1. Newfoundland and Labrador, seed number 4. Winner goes to the gold medal game later on this afternoon. Quebec's great with the lead, and they've got it now, Neil, 2-0. How does Newfoundland and Labrador respond here in the second?
They have to respond by putting up some corner guards and trying to get some rocks in play that they can come around and hit and roll behind and those sorts of things to generate at least a deuce.
Passe à côté du sliding
If it continues on where Quebec keeps getting 2 with last rock, and Newfoundland only gets one with last rock. The math doesn't work out well for Newfoundland and Labrador, so they've got to settle down now. They got through the first end. They could have given up a big end. They didn't. They made some good shots at the end to keep it close. And they just have to continue on with that.
2, 3. 1. Hog.
Make sure it's 2.
Chris. Bring it over.
Trying to get this past the hog line. Hard sweep from Zach Young and Chris Ford.
Good sweep in there. Sometimes what happens is the center line is actually the heaviest part of the sheet, because in the pregame practices, they throw a bunch of different rocks into the button, but sometimes not down the center line, going outwards to break down the pebble. So that might have been the heaviest spot of the ice. Just threw normal weight where it was keen, and the fresh pebble took the weight off. But that's what you have sweepers for.
Perfect. T-line. Back 4.
The brooms are paid for, they might as well use them.
Hard sweep for Team Newfoundland and Labrador.
Good though.
Quebec into the house twice.
So now Chris is asking Katie to do a hit and roll off his top one in behind the corner guard. The key to this shot is to make sure that she saves the shooter,
Clean. Yep.
so that Quebec has to deal with it. If she rolls out, that corner guard's going to be gone in a heartbeat. And Newfoundland will be starting all over again.
Hard.
Well, roll in front.
Okay.
Gets the takeout, but rolls the other way.
That's okay. It's a setup shot,
Santa pas beaucoup de glace.
so there's nothing wrong with that.
Santa pas beaucoup de glace.
In a way, the rock that's in the house is protecting the corner guard and keeping Quebec away from chasing it.
A second for the rink from Chicoutimi, Thierry Fournier.
Yep. No, no, no. Allez, allez. Go on me. Aye. 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 Low roll après. Low roll après. Bon, Thierry.
And Quebec's doing the same thing. They're trying to keep that shooter around and keep Newfoundland and Labrador from being able to use that corner guard, because that's the dangerous rock against Quebec. If Newfoundland can get in there and get covered, then they'll have the setup going and the start of something good for them.
Whoa, 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 off, bro.
No roll.
Yep. Hard. Hard.
Shooter doesn't stay around.
Don't sweep right on my hand. I push that out.
That's Zach Young.
So it'll be a fairly straightforward end now. Newfoundland will go back to throwing out corner guards, and Quebec's going to start peeling them because they're happy with a blank end. That just means another end taken off the scoreboard that Newfoundland has a chance to score.
See Vero. Ooh la 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 la. Love you, baby. Ooh, la, 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 la. Love me tonight.
Three.
Well, low wide.
Keep it clean, guys.
4.
Keep it clean. It's gonna die. Keep it clean.
4.
Keep it clean.
3.
Yep, Kate.
Yeah, finish.
Kate.
If you can.
4.
Okay,
3.
well then, whoa, whoa, whoa. Keep clean.
We're not in.
Judge.
Clean.
Clean.
Vero, clean.
Vero,
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 clean.
Bradshire. Vero. Good,
Hard.
good, good, good.
It's Goslin and Young trying to get on the same page.
Again, it's a tricky sheet of ice. If you sweep it early, you can lose the line. And that's problematic as compared to where you want the rock to stop. And rock placement is so key when it's this tricky. So it's easier for Quebec right now to throw
Hey, we're here up.
hard-weighted shots because the rocks aren't going to curl. And if you throw them clean, they won't fall as well.
Oh, well.
3, 2.
Go down. 2.
Right here.
Okay.
Clean.
Last stone for Amélie Blais.
Thierry, hard! Attendez un coup, hard!
Okay.
You're good.
So Newfoundland and Labrador will throw one more guard, hoping that Robert peels it away, and then they'll probably play a hit and stay on the red one to have the opportunity to blank. On the other hand, Robert may decide to split the house and try and force them to take one on their last shot.
Not too much more.
But I think he'll probably play the peel on his first one.
2.
Right here. Kate in. Kate in.
Lui, il va soit dry, soit s'il va être roll, là.
Bah, peut-être que tu t'en sur celle-là, mais. Je me force.
So Robert's selecting to draw in, maintain a split house,
Ouais, t'as le
force
plus
Chris
large.
to have to take one in the second end. So it's a good call as long as you put this one on the tee line where Newfoundland and Labrador can't hit and roll behind the corner guard to the back of the 8-foot and get some cover and maybe generate a 2 points. He also doesn't want to be behind the tee line because Newfoundland and Labrador will understand that, hold on here, we can't get out of this with a blank, so we might as well freeze to this one or attempt to come around that corner guard.
Ça va sûrement grabber un peu dans ce coin-là.
T-line.
Top 4.
Pas l'air de glisser des masses.
Ça a l'air beau. Ça a l'air à bien glisser, là.
Donne-y à Thierry, come on!
Top 4. Yep.
Come on, Thierry boy! Gotta go hard!
Yep.
Hard!
Hard. Faut toucher. Faut toucher. Hard. OK, good sweep.
Fighter on the top 12, and Robert leaves it a bit short.
He does, and again, this is that actually forces Newfoundland and Labrador to play the come around the guard, and in the attempts of getting covered and getting their 2 points back.
Yeah. Draw around, yeah?
Yep.
I'll be on the straight side. This is the
Yeah, might need a
curl
big,
side.
might need a finish here. It's kind of straighter.
Okay.
So Chris is going to have to throw really close to the weight that you want, so that the sweepers don't have to sweep it early. Let the rock curl as much as they can the entire way. He might even have to do it all on his own.
Line's good.
Weight's
Stay
good.
close. Yep.
Line.
Wall line, wall line.
Room.
Weight's good.
Room.
Weight's good.
Wall line.
Weight's good.
Room. Just here. Just
Kate.
here.
Kate in.
No.
Go hard.
Yep.
Hard. Gotta curl.
Yep. Bring it over. Bring
Hard.
it over. Hard.
Tried to tuck it behind the guard, but it looks like it's still exposed.
Looks like it's mostly open.
Essaye de rouler en
He
dessous de
actually needed a
l'autre
few
roue.
more feet of weight on his own
C'est le spot que les
because
gars
even that
curl.
little bit of sweeping that they did just didn't allow that rock to curl enough.
Hein? Ouais, bumper 80? Ouais.
Ouais.
Tu as un de jamais?
Non. Faut vraiment la poigner très mince.
Encore une chatouille. Ouais, mais le in, il snap. Tu penses qu'elle va y aller pareil sur l'autre?
Tranquillement, là.
OK. Vas-y une gousse de plus, c'est bon.
Lui, il a pas fini, gros.
Ouais.
Let's go.
80. Attirez pas trop positif.
Oh, Thierry, reste proche quand même. Reste proche. Yep.
No!
Yes.
No!
Yes.
Yes!
Hard.
Hard! Véro on the roll!
Hard. Hard.
Come on, Véro! Hard! Good job. Bon spot. Super spot.
Robert, happy with that.
Oh, do I have all that?
He got almost a little bit covered behind
A
that
little less.
biter, and it puts it in Chris's
Left
eyesight,
control?
so
Yeah.
Okay.
he's got to be very careful because he can't afford to touch the top one without having a very fortuitous roll into a piece of the 8-foot. So a
Little
nose
less
hit, a
control
little
there.
bit of a roll
You don't need it roll, do you?
Nope.
is a good thing for him, but he's got to be very careful with this one because
Well, we
there is a
can
spot
roll.
in the ice here
Probably.
where it can curl a little bit if the handle is a little bit slow or his weight's down a little bit as
Little-
compared from what he wants to throw.
A little room for error, too, against 3 here.
Can't afford to give up any points here.
Whoa.
Final stone in the second end.
Hard.
Really
Hard.
hard.
Hard. Hard.
Yep.
Hard.
Hard! Hard!
Trying to get it past the guard, barely.
I got your back.
You can credit the sweepers with that point.
He made that interesting.
Zach Young and Kate Murphy avoiding what would have been a disaster. That close. Giving up more points. Instead, Newfoundland, Labrador get 1. They'll take it. 2-1 after 2. Chris Ford made sure to give a pat on the back to Zach Young and Kate Murphy after that. And that would have been a disaster for Newfoundland and Labrador and likely would have put them out of the semifinal.
It would have made for a very difficult comeback, but he had enough weight, and they got the sweepers on early enough to be able to hold that stone. So it was a good shot, and one that was very needed at that time.
3, 2.
Mine's good.
But for Team Quebec, that's what they wanted. They wanted to get Newfoundland and Labrador to take 1. Now they have the hammer back with a lead.
Right, and their goal will be to try and score 2 points and get a 4-1 lead, and
Yep.
Newfoundland and Labrador certainly doesn't want to see that happen either. They want to keep this game as close as they can.
Good shot.
Speaking of close games, Charlie Sullivan's New Brunswick team was able to draw in to the 4-foot for 2 in the second end to tie that game up with Ontario.
2-2 in the third.
Yep, la ligne un peu. Non, sorry, ligne est bonne, ligne est bonne. Ligne est bonne, à traque au bout.
And we're seeing the same strategy that we saw in the first end with
Ça va glisser une tonne.
Newfoundland and Labrador throwing up a guard on the center line and Quebec going wide on the intern side of the ice.
Ah, vous pouvez là. Go deep, go deep.
Last time this happened, Newfoundland ignored it in the first end and came around the center line guard, and we'll see if Chris elects to do that again.
Go, Véro.
Yep, you know it.
Touch more. Let's go. It's gonna cut your way, D. It's good.
Got a curl.
It's gonna start cutting.
Got a curl. No, line's good now.
Coming
Broke
down
in.
a bit.
Broke in. Yep.
Rough.
Yep.
It's really cutting.
Hard.
Hard. It's really
Hard.
cutting.
Hard to get by.
Hard. It's really cutting.
Hard.
Sit. Sit. Okay.
Both these provinces are looking for their second
I need to be in.
Canadian mixed championship
Right.
Top
for
ribs.
Team Quebec. Their only win was in 2001. A great skip, Jean-Michel Menard, Canadian champion. Actually the first Francophone skip to win the Canadian Men's Championship at the Brier in 2006.
Yeah, they did play very well that week in Regina, which is hosting Next year's Briar as well.
Laisse-la ralentir. Laisse-la
And for
ralentir.
Team Newfoundland and Labrador, it was 2005.
Thierry, on the roll, Thierry. Come
That's
on,
when
get
Mark
the red in,
Nichols,
get the red in.
now the third for Brad Gushu in the
Okay.
Newfoundland and Labrador rink. It was a 7-5 victory over the hosts in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan that year.
Last time going up here, that was top 8. So
Yeah, Mark's had a wonderful career with all the.
might be a little quicker.
He's pretty much won everything there is to win out there, except seniors, and that's just because he's not old enough yet.
These two teams
Looks up.
right now looking to follow in their footsteps, two very successful skips.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, line. Yes,
Line.
Hard line. Yes, need line.
Hard!
Hard
You
line.
gotta get it by! Roll it off. We had to be on that.
And a mistake there for Newfoundland and Labrador.
Had pretty good line, had a chance to get around those guards. Now it's getting a little bit cluttered, so we'll see what Robert does. He may want to clean up a few of those rocks and move them around.
Yeah. T-line. T-line.
Another look.
Si, c'est bon.
Back to Thierry Fournier.
On a du weight. Fond maison. Back roll. Back roll.
Back roll.
Reste proche, Véro.
Fond maison.
Reste proche, Véro.
Hard. Hard line.
Really hard.
Hard line.
Really hard. Coming down.
Hard line.
Push, push.
Yep, yep, yep. Yep, Abby. Yep, Abby.
Okay.
Yeah. Watch these, they go. So
One thing we haven't talked about yet, Neil, is the team from Quebec, 10-0. Only 5 teams have ever gone through the Canadian Mixed Championship with an undefeated record.
Clean.
Back to eat.
And the pressure
watch the wall.
of that 0 in the loss column certainly has to be
Got a curl.
weighing on Team Quebec.
Book!
Well, hopefully they're not thinking about that. Hopefully they're just concentrating on one shot at a time.
Hard. Hard.
Keep doing what's been successful for them all week. Forget about going undefeated. Their goal is to make one shot at a time, maintain control of the semifinal. If they get to the final, have the same game plan. If it happens to go 12 and zip, great, it'd be a bonus, but the goal is to win the Canadian Championship and the right to wear the maple leaf at next year's World Championship.
Yes. Hard. Hard. Whoa, 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 whoa. Incroyable comment il va. C'est incroyable. Good call, Bob. C'est un mec qui l'a collé, elle a commencé à brosser tout de suite.
Let's go. Board.
Hey.
Yeah, gotta go early. Yep.
Chris is trying to get Brooke to get to that shot rock, remove it from play and roll in behind the 2 yellow ones on the left side of the center line.
Yes, keep going. Keep going. Hard, 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 hard. Yes, keep going. Gotta hit that thin.
Huh?
No. Yeah. You did good.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Quebec line 2.
This isn't starting to shape up the way
Wait.
Newfoundland and Labrador wants it to go. Somebody in their back end is going to have to make a really quality shot to get them out of this mess.
Là, je pense
And
pas
it
qu'on
may
va
be
aller de même,
something
par exemple.
along the lines of hitting the shot rock and rolling behind those 2 yellow ones on the left side of the center line.
Okay. Contrôle. C'est correct?
What?
And they were looking for the
Okay, let's go.
rock and the 8-foot there.
They're trying to hit and roll. And when that wasn't happening, they were hoping to bounce into a favorable position. But if Amelie can make this hit and roll here, Quebec's going to be sitting a whole bunch of stones down there.
Hard sweep from Fournier and just gets around that yellow guard.
So Brooks got to make the hit and roll. That still doesn't get him out of danger because of the two rocks that are in the 12 foot that can be used by Quebec to promote onto her stone if she were to make this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. I curled a bit.
Okay.
Ouais, splitter ça, tomber 4 shots, puis dégager le centre complètement.
Sinon, juste la poussée est bonne aussi. Là.
Si t'en pousses, le problème, c'est que si tu pousses croche, tu restes là, elle se contourne bien après. Si tu splits, tu pousses elle là, tu roules un peu là.
OK. OK.
Tire-moi T-line, anyway.
Oui.
T'en penses comme ça?
Je vais en prendre un petit peu plus, je vais curler plus. OK.
So Quebec's going to try and throw draw weight and have Emily come down, touch the red one that's in the full 12 foot left to center line, just rub it a little bit over to the left and have the shooter go off to the right, thereby opening up the 4 foot and covering off a whole bunch of area that
Et là!
Newfoundland needs to get to.
Back. Reste proche.
Ça prend mes packs!
Proche, yes.
Yes!
Yes. Yes.
Wow, t'es où? T'es où?
Yes!
Back
On est
in,
back.
backline! Ah, oublie ça,
Ça
oublie
prend
ça,
mes
oublie ça.
packs.
Ouais, l'impact, on est sur le nez.
Well, didn't get any roll at all. Instead, it takes one out.
That's a huge break for Newfoundland, eliminating one of your own stones
Just to hear, like,
and actually
we don't
making
need to bring it over.
almost another guard out of that one that's a biter. So if Chris can come down here and tap that yellow one on the outside and get it to the back of the 4 foot and create some separation from those yellow stones, he does have a chance to get out of this end without Quebec scoring very many points and even possibly setting up a steal. The good news is for Chris in the first end, he did play a rock out here
How much?
that came up a little bit light, ended up being a guard in a good position blocking, so he should have an idea of the ice and what the weight is doing out here.
Make it touch less.
We can't hurt this.
Where is it?
Up! Up!
Close. Yep.
Yep.
Up!
Yep. Yes.
Backline.
Back!
Yes, back.
Sweep it. Hard. Hard.
Nips the guard.
Good.
Does push the yellow back to the tee line.
That was a little fortunate. It just straightened out that shooting rock to get to the nose of that guard. It still leaves Robert with a slight angle raised takeout to lay 3, or he can run the double using the Newfoundland shooter at the top of the 12 foot.
Non, celle-là, on la connaît, on l'a tiré. Elle a bougé un peu. Je pense. Tirer du gaz, là, tant qu'on y touche, on est 1-2.
Oui.
Quoique.
Normal.
C'est juste normal. Normal. Normal?
Ouais.
Oui.
Là, tu sais qu'elle y va, là. Hein?
Ben là, le in snap. Le out, c'était dans le grab. Le in, c'est parce que c'est le spot. Là, je pense pas qu'elle va
Amélie,
bien.
son contrôle, il a curlé pas mal aussi.
Ouais, je t'avoue que je suis embêté, là, je sais pas. Je pense que c'est proche, ça. Faut frapper 3 quarts, à mon avis. Okay, normal. Chatouille de plus, peut-être? Merci. Allez, make it. Oh.
Thierry, reste proche. Normal up.
Non.
Véro. Véro.
Non, pas Véro, pas Véro!
Wow, wow.
Oh!
Oh, Véro.
No, you're good, you're good. Good. Shit.
Good shot, sir, Bob.
Just the way he drew it up. Now with Newfoundland looking at 3, and the angles aren't good for any of them.
Take him up.
So he might just play an out-turn draw in around that corner guard on the left-hand side of the center. He may elect to play the same shot and try and tap the yellow one up. That
Up to you.
when you move another shot, it always adds another level of difficulty to it.
Okay. Yeah, just right here.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I guess. It might be a bit more.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is a tricky spot.
Good
There's a spot where it
re-tack.
will curl, but if you don't hit it, he's not going to be covered. So he's got to have the broom in the right spot, throw it well,
So
and
hard to
have
get
the
the finish.
proper weight where the sweepers can't be involved very much.
We just need a piece, at least half on there.
Quebec already lying
Here,
3.
Kate, switch.
The last one was probably what, back 8?
Maybe
Maybe back 12?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the one that slides.
Last rock for Ford.
Lots of room.
In a bit of a jam here.
Weight's good.
Just top 8. Close for line.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Hard line.
Yep,
Really
hard line. Hard line!
Hard line.
Yes, hard!
Sweepers trying to keep it straight.
Hard!
Hard.
Go, 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 go,
Bring
go!
it in. Bring it in.
Hits the guard and it rolls to the top of the 8-foot.
He had really good weight. If he could have got that by, it would have been covered well enough to probably get them out of the end. But just with that little rub, now it's just the same shot that Robert threw on his first one. And he's got lots to roll on. It's going to be very hard pressed for him to not get 4 this end.
Yeah, this could be 4. And that would blow this game wide open. Anxious moment for Newfoundland and Labrador. Desjardins been great all week.
Jiggy. Whoa. Zero. Zero.
Chance for 4.
Hard no, hard no,
Good sweep.
And he hits.
4.
Yeah, that's a big end. They played a very good end. Newfoundland was forced into gambling, and unfortunately, it didn't work out for them.
Good sweep.
Desjardins been on. And this, almost routine now.
We'll see a very conservative Quebec team out there throwing very few draws and lots of takeouts.
Quebec has been very tough to beat all week, especially when they have a lead. And now their lead is 6-1 after the 4th. This is the 2018 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship from Swan River, Manitoba. Just 4 teams remaining. Semifinal. Quebec, the top seed at 10-0. Newfoundland and Labrador, the 4th seed.
Top 8. Top 4.
And now we'll see Newfoundland and Labrador try and get creative, but they'll need some misses from Quebec to do so.
They will. You'll see Quebec throw their first 2 rocks in the rings, and probably Newfoundland and Labrador throw up 2 corner guards. And then you'll see some more draws by Newfoundland coming around guards if they get that opportunity, freezing to the ones, tapping to the ones that'll be on the center line. Well, Quebec goes about the business of removing those corner guards.
Quebec hasn't had many big ends. They've been great defensively, but a 4 in the 3rd. Where did that end go wrong for Newfoundland and Labrador?
Just a couple misses in the middle of the ends where they were rubbing guards, didn't quite have the weight to get around the guards and get covered. And it just snowballed from there. Plus Quebec made all their shots as well.
Good, Kate.
Is there any consolation for Newfoundland and Labrador? It's only the 4th.
That's a good
Still some
point.
time.
If you're going to give up a 4 ball, it's better to be early in the game rather than late, where you have less time to catch up.
coach
Ouais, je pense qu'on
préféré?
peut la reprendre sur la in.
Hein?
Je pense qu'on peut la remettre sur la in.
OK.
Let's go, Véro.
Je passerai pour la ligne, c'est bon.
C'est pas ma plus belle glisse en carrière.
On a un bon push, mais on devrait être topé.
Ouais, ça va être amé en premier, là, parce que
Topé,
Back
top
out,
4.
back out,
ça en
celle-là.
vient accrocher. Oh non, pas top 4, c'est trop proche. Parce qu'on est side by side.
Top
Elle est où,
4.
là?
Top
Elle est là,
4.
elle est là.
Yep, hard line on tape, hard line on tape.
On tape pas.
OK, let's curler. Thierry, descend la plus basse. Non, OK, arrête d'abord. Ah, collé au bout.
As expected,
Hey,
2 in the house for Quebec.
Pour Véro.
And Chris is now calling for the corner guard on the other side of the sheet. So a standard play when you need to score
It's up.
more than one in an end.
We're in.
3, 2,
Come down a lot. Here, bring it over.
it's over.
Whoa. Should be flat. Should be even enough that there's no double.
Checking over on the other semifinal on sheet C. Charlie Sullivan in the rink from St. John, New Brunswick. 3-2 lead after a single in the third for Team Ontario.
Yeah, New Brunswick played a very good end and just forced Ontario to draw into the 8-foot and concede a single point on the steal. That's going to be a tight battle through to the end.
Mike Anderson and Team Ontario quietly to an 8-2 record.
2,
Yeah, and the two games they lost were close games, so they've been in every battle.
Make them even, guys.
And Charlie Sullivan,
They have to be
his
even.
team's been playing very well, and there's a lot of experience on that team.
Not
So
even gotta be back here.
Whoa.
that's going to be a nail
Oh,
biter
they have
by
to
the
be
time
even.
it finishes.
Sit. Sit, sit, sit.
Good wait.
Newfoundland and Labrador played New Brunswick actually yesterday. Final draw of the championship pool. The winner got the 3rd seed. And Labrador had last rock, but New Brunswick a steal for the win. Instead of a date with Quebec in the semifinal, it's Ontario. Still a great team.
maybe more.
No, it's about the same. Close.
Mine's
Close.
good.
Close. They had to be even.
Slayer.
It's a good guard. They're pretty parallel to each other, so the double and rollout's not really an option. So Roberto just called for Amelie to peel this single off, roll away.
Yep.
Oh. Clean. Yep.
Whoa, whoa.
Yes. Hey.
Roule au centre si t'es capable. OK.
However, shooter stays around.
It does, and that's what Newfoundland needed. So now you'll see Newfoundland probably start moving the red stones around and try and get behind cover.
Or you just like pushing it back.
I just like pushing it back.
Yeah. Just through.
Small break here for
Let's go.
team from the Rock.
So just through.
Just through.
It is, but they now have to take advantage of it. So just a little lightweight tap back and get behind the corner guard.
We're a little down for just through.
Leave it a bit.
Clean.
Whoa!
We're
Clean.
down. We're down.
We need to go.
We're like just to it.
Okay, go then.
Yes!
Where are we? Yep, yep.
Back
Yep.
8.
Oh, oh.
Whoa.
Go for this back one here.
Just
Roll it. Roll it, roll it.
taps that guard.
Okay.
but gets past.
Well, it's probably a good thing she didn't have the back ring weight that they asked for, else she would have maybe wrecked on that guard
Yeah.
and let Quebec have a different opportunity.
Just changes the angle, but
And the good news is she sat in front of the shot rock, so it's still a pretty precise shot for Amélie.
Whoa!
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Whoa! Véro!
Whoa!
third for Team Quebec, Amélie Blais. Takes
Correct,
2
c'était
out.
pas évident, ça.
Good shot, cleans it up a little bit. Quebec doesn't want too many rocks in play.
Yeah.
Just a touch less.
Newfoundland and Labrador went 4-2 in the round robin. And then 2-2 in the championship pool. Won their first two.
We're out. We're out.
Got it,
Two
Carl.
close losses
Okay,
to
Kate,
Ontario
soon.
and New Brunswick.
Soon, Kate. Soon.
Leaves them 6
Little
and
bump. We're
4.
not that much up.
No!
Fourth spot.
We're not that much up.
Oh, we're only going to it.
Kate.
Right off!
Yep.
Kate,
Yep.
hard.
Yep.
Top 12.
Oui. Encore en train de choisir, hein?
Tu vas juste l'appliquer?
Ah, si on peut rester en face, ce serait bien. Si on peut rester en face de la nôtre, ce serait bon, hein?
Oui,
C'est ton normal?
normal. Normal?
Non.
Thierry un peu.
Véro!
Wow,
Véro!
Thierry!
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 Non, non! Yep!
Hard! Hard!
No roll, you're good.
Good.
That's a very nice roll because it takes away the entire half of the sheet for Newfoundland. So they're either going to have to come in wide around the yellow guard or wide around, maybe down the center line to bite the edge of the forefoot. But that can be such a straight spot, it might be a difficult shot to be able to complete.
Okay.
Oh, draw,
Maybe a
wide
bit
draw.
stickier out there.
I think this is the
Wide
best
draw, yeah?
chance for Newfoundland to get into the forefoot. There is some curl here.
What's that?
Wide draw?
Yeah.
So what do we need here?
If they
Where's
get to
his?
the T line, biting the
Copy.
forefoot, it'd be a great shot.
Try to get a piece of the forefoot.
Okay. Where's his, though?
8 foot.
Okay. All right, well, let's try to get it.
So we can be more 8.
Okay.
Line's good. Best T line. Got a curl.
Yep. Gotta be there.
Well, it's okay.
Gotta be there.
I'll slide.
Yes.
Hard!
Yes.
Hard!
Hard.
Hard!
Hard. Keep going.
Trying to sweep this one in.
Hard.
Hard all the way. Don't stop.
Doesn't quite get to shot rock.
He had great line. If that rock could have gone another 2 feet, they would have been buried, and a real good opportunity for 2 points. Now they're going to be hard pressed
Le trou, là, pas qu'il puisse
to
drawer.
even score a point.
Sûr? Il n'y a pas de double take-out pour deux? Non, à la 3, non.
Il peut venir le faire par deux côtés, son drap. Là.
Comment qu'il dit
If
ça?
Robert puts this right on the center line, it plugs the hole,
Ah, juste dit qu'il y avait les deux options pour
and
son drap.
Newfoundland might be forced to come out wide again and do a little tap for their one.
Le trou, là, là.
That would be a tough one.
Voilà avec le intern.
It will, because that second shot rock's almost completely buried.
Milieu du 8. Milieu du 8. Moins.
Dans le milieu, là.
Là, c'est toi qui sais la speed dans ce spot-là.
On est à 35, 40. Ouais, regarde.
Super face à ce place-là. Là. C'est correct. 50.
Non, pas.
Ah, Véro en premier.
Véro en premier. Oh, attends un peu.
Oh,
Attends.
switch!
Attends, c'est
Switch!
Tu peux-tu attendre?
Pas vraiment?
Non, c'est parfait.
Si on
Continue,
va,
continue. Thierry est parfaite. Go, Thierry.
Wow.
Cheers, Just clean. Just clean. It's perfect.
It's good.
Go above.
Newfoundland and Labrador with the hammer, but in some trouble.
Good sweep.
Good job, guys.
He doesn't have a bunch of good options, to say the least. Either play the out-turn tap or run the red guard back on, that's biting back onto the shot rock. But he'd have to be close to the yellow guard as well, so that's dangerous. So,
Not much space there at all.
so somebody's got to get relatively close
feet
to
more,
the
Chris.
nose
Yeah.
and promote this stone up
That is fully baked.
about
Yeah.
16 inches to get his one.
Final stone now for Chris Ford and Team Newfoundland and Labrador,
Looks good.
Close.
trying to stay in it.
Yes, line. Yep.
Line's fine.
Well, line.
We're up.
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep. Hard.
Yes, 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 yes.
Can't get it past the guard, and it's a steal. Line looked good. The sweepers came in late.
Sounded good. Not sure what happened to that one. If it caught a little different path and curled a little bit more than they anticipated it would.
Didn't have enough to get past the guard.
Wrecking wasn't an option, so it's very unfortunate for Newfoundland and Labrador.
Steal for Quebec. Already have their eyes on the gold medal game. 7-1 after 4. Head down to the ice right now. Team Quebec in charge after 4 ends. 7-1 over Newfoundland and Labrador. Emily Blais III, you've played in a lot of close games in this tournament. This one, not so much. 7-1. What's worked so well for your team?
Well, we came prepared. Like, we went to bed early last night. We took the rocks that we wanted, so we know we have good rocks. We played with more rocks in play in the first few ends, but turned out good for us, so we'll take it. And now we can play our more defensive game to the end.
Now, you came into this game one win away from the gold medal game, undefeated so far. It's been a tremendous tournament for you. What are some of the pressures that go along with being undefeated and a chance at a history here?
Well, I think we just don't want to think about it. Like, it's one game at a time. Like, we know we're undefeated, but we just take that apart, and it's a new day, it's a new game, so it's one rock at a time, and we just have to do our job.
All right, and good luck with this one.
Thank you so much.
All right, 7-1 for Team Quebec. They have their eyes already on that gold medal game. Let's go back upstairs.
All right. Few records away from a close game.
Yep. I'll just take that. Or just take off just before the hog line? Or?
Into the fifth
I was calling
here in the semifinal game. 7-1.
Yep.
Neil, we knew that Quebec has been terrific all tournament long, but did you see this sort of score early on?
I didn't think it would get away from Newfoundland this early. I thought Quebec would play a little bit more conservative. They actually were a little bit more aggressive in the first and third ends and got some lucky breaks where Newfoundland didn't play as good as they can. Quebec took advantage of it. They have the 7-1 lead. Now it's going to be a pretty standard game, just as it was in the fourth end, where Quebec will throw a couple on the center line in the rings. Newfoundland will spread out with corner guards, and then Quebec will go peeling. So Newfoundland's going to need a number of misses from Quebec over the back half of this game for them to get back in it. And this is a tricky enough sheet. It's going to be hard to come back from this much of a deficit.
And we just haven't seen those misses from Quebec.
No, they've played very well this week when they've had the lead. They've protected it all the time, obviously by their 10-0 record. So with the way they're playing today, I really don't see that being any different.
2.
2, 3, 2.
2, 3. Yep.
Shot.
All worth another check over on the other semifinal game.
Yeah, tu laisses way in,
Mike
wow.
Anderson's rink from Thornhill, Ontario. A deuce in the fourth. A bit of a seesaw battle going on over there. 4-3 after 4.
Tire petit line, m'a m'arranger avec.
Just into the fifth there.
Back 4. Oh, attendons.
Coming down a bit.
And Veronique's played a very good game. She's throwing her rocks exactly where she
Allez, go.
has to,
Big time, Ami.
which makes it
Big
a lot
time.
more
Come on,
easier
Thierry.
for Quebec to defend
Thierry,
this
come on.
lead, and a lot
Come
more
on,
difficult
on.
for Newfoundland and Labrador to mount
That's
a
a good spot.
comeback.
I like it.
A lot of focus on that team from Quebec. I had to drag one of them out there to get an interview. All of them said, no, we want to focus. Emily, please. Somebody.
Waits there.
Well, they're in that mode. They're here for two things. One, to win a Canadian championship, and the second one is to have fun.
It's you, beef.
And it does take a little bit of effort to maintain your focus over the course
Not yet, but when?
of this long
Now.
a week. And when you're this close
Now,
to
they
your
gotta be
goal,
even. They have to be
you
even.
don't want to do anything that will disrupt that.
Hard.
But they are still having some fun, despite their 10-0 record. Robert and
Good.
Thierry were up here last night. There was a good event for the curlers, karaoke. They're pretty good singers, apparently. And Robert and Thierry got up and sang a nice Quebec folk song. So they're still having some fun, despite two very important games today.
And you have to have fun. You have to allow yourself that downtime to mentally enjoy yourselves.
Rare miss there from Quebec.
Yeah, Thierry hasn't missed many peels this week. It's the start of something for Newfoundland.
Okay. Speed's the same.
Ball on.
4.
This'll cut. This'll cut. Close.
Clean.
Close.
Clean. Yep. Yep.
It's
Now
set
clean.
up.
Clean.
Set up.
Okay, well then.
Looks up, guys. Kate to finish.
No, you can't.
They got it. Bring it back.
No.
Got to be buried. Yep. 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 Yep.
Something that Blais mentioned as well after the fourth. Quebec playing with a lot more rocks than they usually have in this tournament. In the early ends, were you surprised by that approach?
A little bit, but they made their shots and took advantage of the opportunities.
This time Fournier connects.
And now Newfoundland can start putting off corner guards to guard that until they determine it's time to maybe go around the intern corner guard, because that's another opportunity that is afforded to them right now.
Line's good.
Line's good, guys.
Keep it clean.
Whoa. Whoa. At the end.
Yeah, make
At
sure
the
it's there.
end. Yep. 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 Half open.
Only 2 provinces have gone undefeated at the Mixed National Championship. This is the 55th year. Alberta and Saskatchewan. Alberta's done it 3 times, most recently in 2016 in Toronto. Mick Lismore, 12-0 mark. Team Saskatchewan did it in 68 and in 84. Doesn't come around that often, but
Good enough.
Quebec is still 2 wins away.
Good job.
But they're getting closer with every rock that's thrown, because it's certainly looking like they'll be in the gold medal match. That only puts them 8 ends away, maybe 9 ends if it's a really tight game and goes the extra.
And the tank full of confidence.
As it should be. They've earned the 10 wins that they have.
That's good.
That does breed confidence. That does breed some relaxation because you are meeting your capabilities throughout the week. And when it's going wrong, it's going wrong. And there's not an example where Newfoundland's rock catches something on the berry.
C'est un tiers ou moins.
C'est mince. Dès que t'as un morceau, je vais caler.
OK. Let's go.
So Robert's calling for Amelie to try and do the outturn peel of both yellow ones. First one on the left-hand side of the center line, over catch that one on the right-hand side.
One, but not two. Just missing behind.
Bon, je te dirais pas que c'est très mince à l'avenir, parce que tu réussis à frapper trop mince.
Oui, c'est ça. Je pensais que c'était vraiment très mince.
Ouais, ben là, ça t'a pas extrêmement mince.
It should curl.
Clean.
Smile from Desjardins after that narrow
Wait's
miss.
there.
Line's good.
Wait's good. Wait's good. Wait's good. Little up.
Get a tick. Get
We're
a
off.
tick.
Yep.
We're
Go
up.
down it. We're up.
Okay.
Hurry up, we're up.
Kate.
No,
Kate.
whoa.
Normal.
Oui. Oh. Zéro. Zéro all the way. All the way, all the way, all the way. Lâche-la pas, lâche-la pas, lâche-la pas.
Go.
Encore. Good.
His sheet has certainly been the toughest for the curl in Newfoundland and Labrador.
Make that perfect.
Seeing that again here.
100%.
You just can't afford to get down by more than one. It's just too hard to generate more than 2 points.
It's hard to work with, I guess.
Nothing again.
As a sweeper.
So it just makes it so much easier for Quebec, where they can just sit here and
A lot of times it's
throw the high, hard peel weight. Don't have to worry about too much curl. Throw it good.
like hitting and rolling here. Or we just,
They've got a great advantage with that 6-point lead.
if we could lock that around the corner, have a good dish set up.
Make this more impressive.
Head
For
roll,
St.
eh?
Quebec has battled the flu all week. Not feeling 100%, but
No, I won't put a burn.
certainly curled like it.
They certainly have. Maybe everybody should get that sort of flu.
Control.
Yeah.
2 for Chris Ford in the 5th.
Oh. Close.
And he's got to make the hit and roll behind the guard.
Yeah.
Take the roll. Take the roll.
Yep.
Hard.
Yes.
Hard.
Yes. Big roll. Go.
Ford wanted more roll.
They're showing signs of
Go out.
similar to Northern Ontario in their week. They're just missing by that inch.
Essaye de rouler derrière le corner.
And an inch less there, he would have been buried behind that guard and would have had a good chance for 2 points. Now instead, the best he can really get is either a 1 or a blank, and it might be time just to take 1 point so he gets to throw the 2 guards up in the 6th end.
Thierry, reste proche. Yep.
Non, pas de Thierry, pas de suite. Pas de
Thierry,
suite.
reste proche.
Non.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Hey!
Roll. Yes.
Hey!
Roll.
Whoa!
Good.
No roll.
Desjardins.
Pretty good.
Almost got the roll behind the guard to force Newfoundland and Labrador to draw for 1, but I think he rolled far enough that they can blanket if they
One of those
choose to
days
do
when
so.
the Bucks don't go where I want. Sometimes it's just.
But I think he's making a good choice. Take the 1, and have the opportunity to put up 2 center guards in the 6th end.
Yeah.
All right, piece of the 4.
Same way as it's been.
Ford looking for one in the 5th.
I don't think we can hurt this one. What'd you get on it?
All you.
We can't hurt this one.
All you.
We're down.
Hard. Keep going hard. Hard. Full 8.
Got to sweep this one in.
Conrad.
And it's not far enough.
Just never had it there out of his hand. Sweepers did all they could, but it wasn't going much further.
Another steal for Quebec. And this game continues to get further and further away from Newfoundland and Labrador.
It does. It's almost at the point now where it's an insurmountable lead for Quebec.
They've had a great week. 2 steals in a row now, though, for Quebec, and looking to get to that gold medal game. Eight to 1. Robert Desjardins rink from Team Quebec. From Quebec in charge here.
They're going to throw 2 through. I don't think corners work because they just had, they were blocking.
And Neil, a great week for Team Newfoundland and Labrador, but it seems as though they haven't been able to get anything going here, and the wheels just might be off the tracks.
It is for now, but they can regroup over the lunch hour break, play for a bronze medal. It's another game where they can gain experience from. And as we were alluding to yesterday, there's men's and women's playdowns coming up in the near future for both of these genders to get to the Brier or the Scotties Tournament of Hearts. And with the Brad Gushu team being Team Canada, they won't be playing in the Newfoundland and Labrador playdown, so that opens it up wide open for somebody to represent that province that
2-3.
probably hasn't been to a Brier in a number of years, given what the Gushu team has been able to accomplish.
2.
So hopefully the Ford men's team, if there is one, is using this to gather some momentum going into those playdowns.
Yep, right to the rope. Good, Kate. Yeah, I think you're right, because whatever reason.
Ford knows Gushu quite well in St. John's, and of course Brad and his team, the host team for the men's championship last year. Ford said he gained a lot of knowledge, experience just being there and watching Gushu and his team compete. The excitement in the crowd.
Yeah, I missed most of that Brier. I was over in South Korea and just got back for the last 3 rocks of the Brier final. So
Just in time.
though I did see some film and pictures of lots of fun happening with the trophy in the patch and in other areas of the city after the championship final. So St. John's embraced it very well. It was a wonderful event to see.
That mile 1 center in downtown St. John's was jumping all weekend.
It's a fun city. They're a great group of people in Newfoundland.
Slid out with more, though.
And it'll be another great Brier in another 3 or 4 months in Regina. Regina always puts on a good show when it comes to curling. Though they're probably all taking tomorrow off to watch that Eastern final game in the CFL. So they won't be thinking curling.
That's for sure. Regina, about a 4-hour drive from Swan River. Swan River actually very close to the Saskatchewan border in Midwestern Manitoba, maybe about 35 kilometers. Closer drive to Regina than it is to Winnipeg.
Yeah, an hour less drive. Just depends which way you're going and how easy it is for you to travel.
It's been cold all week, but the snow is held off for the most part. One bad night.
Yeah, it's supposed to hit a little bit more tonight. I understand there's
Oh,
some
really?
coming in. But maybe this minus 27-degree weather that we have right now might
Hold
be
it
too
off.
cold for the snow to show up.
That's what we're dealing with here. But it's been great. Hasn't deterred the locals at all from coming out and supporting this tournament.
It's a 2.
Been packed all week long.
Probably.
The crowd's been
past
great
that.
here.
Sit down.
It's a wonderful community. They've embraced the event. The curlers have really enjoyed themselves here.
Sit.
And I'd be surprised if somewhere down the road there's not another curling event that comes to Swan River.
First time for this community hosting a Canadian championship. A terrific job. Everybody in the town's talking about it anyway.
As they should. It's a big event for a town of this size. Ontario stole a key one in the 5th inning against New Brunswick to go up 5-3. So that's going to put a little pressure on Charlie Sullivan and his team to generate some points and make a comeback.
I brought it back out a little, so
2.
hard finish on this, Kate. Hard finish. Oh.
Now, just the way the schedule worked out, final game of the championship pool just happened to be Quebec and Ontario, seeds 1 and 2. Always funny and interesting when that works out that way. And it was a 5-4 win for Desjardins and Team Quebec, but he even admitted it this morning, said it was tough to see one team lose. It was a great game. If the scores stay the same right now, we'll have a rematch. So ways to go before that, though.
Yeah, we'll find out over the course of about the next 45 minutes. But Quebec's done their job, and I think it's fairly safe to say they'll be playing this afternoon in the gold medal game.
Barring any sort of meltdown here.
Well, we'd have to see a lot of misses that we haven't seen from the entire week out of Quebec. And they'd all have to be at one time.
That's good.
It was 2-1 after the second end here in the semifinal. And a 4 in the third for Team Quebec. Really opened this up, and Newfoundland Labrador has never been able to get it. 2 more steals since then for Team Quebec.
And Newfoundland's losing a little bit of their mojo, and they're hanging in there for what the scoreboard tells them is going to happen. But with them having to play in the bronze medal game, it's still something to work towards. Learn from the ice, get a little bit more comfortable, right the ship a little bit over the last few shots, and just get a little bit of confidence going. So when they show up to play this afternoon, they're back to acting the way they were when they were having good success in their first 6 wins.
Certainly no shame in stepping on the podium. So a lot still to play for the squad.
Exactly. You've come all this way. If you have a chance at a medal, you better take it, because no matter how many championships you play in, you can never play in enough. I think you ask anybody that, they always go, geez, it's not necessarily the ones I won, but there's a couple I left out there that I would have liked to have preferred to have put on the gold medal as well.
That's good. Go back.
No.
Gotta be, yeah.
And playing for bronze is still important. We're in the Olympics and Paralympics. We have 4 curling medals. They're up for grabs. Gold's great, silver's great. But let's not forget bronze is good too. So getting to the podium is a key event. So it's not a bad thing to play in a bronze medal game at a Canadian championship and get used to that idea and get in the head that bronze is important.
And then any competition, the hardest spot to finish in is 4th.
Yeah, there's always been some good studies done on that one. Even amongst the 3 medal winners, they say that silver's the toughest spot, because you're
So close to gold.
so close to gold. If you win bronze, you probably weren't quite there for the silver gold, and you got a little time to back off and say, okay, it's over, silver.
So come
You
home
can
with some
dwell on
hardware.
it. Yeah, so it can be tough. But the key is meddling.
Gold and bronze medal games at 3 Central Time, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific.
It's good.
Catch it on cbcsports.ca.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
You can go back.
Yep.
It's there.
Yep.
Hard.
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 Go, Kate.
Hard.
Hard.
Whoa.
This time they do
Oh, come out the other side.
get past the guard.
That's a good shot by Zach.
Ah, c'est nous autres qui est shot. That's how
Oh,
we
sorry.
can play him, obviously. Ouais, on va le se cacher.
By
mais
Chris,
juste
excuse
égal.
me.
Ouais.
C'est un drap égal.
Ouais.
Mets-moi large de balai pour être sûr. Milieu 4. Milieu 4, mettons.
The trouble is that Quebec has shot rock at the other side of the rings.
Milieu.
So if Robert was able to hit the T line, split the house, he's still going to force Chris into having to make a shot for 1,
Peut-être 25 30.
and not the 2 points that they desperately need.
Égal avec l'autre.
That's been a theme. Ford's been forced to try and take one the last 2 ends. He's missed both times.
Line's good.
You're just going to have to learn from the experience of getting down early and
Ouais, des beaux.
still maintaining your focus.
Elle tourne plus que d'habitude un peu, là, elle va glisser.
Patient, Véro. Elle tourne.
Sit down. Égal avec l'autre, Thierry.
Yep. Yep. Good shot.
He's not missing any.
I think
Bon, toi, tu sais comment je connais.
There's Zach acknowledging how well Robert has been playing.
Yeah, here, let me get on this side again.
All week, really.
Really, all week he's been outstanding.
Full 4,
He's
Chris.
had some open hits for wins, some draws to forfeit that he has to make for wins. He's had a couple easy
Much more than what
games,
you threw last. That was,
so they've
that
been
was
in
top
total
ball,
control through their first 11
a bit
games.
more.
It's a great point. They have faced some adversity. That maybe is the question at 10-0. How battle-tested are you? But with 5 one-point games out of those 10 wins, it's not like they've been walking all over teams.
No, but they were in control, and they utilized those last rock advantages in those 5 wins.
Full 4.
D-line.
Well, we're fine. Whoa, whoa.
D-line.
I think. Yeah, we got there.
Yellow.
We just got there.
Okay.
That's good.
A little fortunate sweeping by the front end.
Yeah.
They could have swept that to the T line and just continue to get used to it. Always go to the T line.
That one hit the brakes pretty hard.
It did. They paid it pretty quick.
Looking good, looking good. Uh-oh. Just enough for 1.
Not in the playoffs, I don't think. Okay.
8-2. Team Quebec now with the hammer in the 7th.
I thought you could do it after 6 regardless.
Back in Swan River, Manitoba for the 2018 Canadian Mixed Championship. 8 end games, but you can hear a bit of discussion going on the ice. The only way you can play 6 is if one team is winning by 7 or more. The deficit's 6 here, and you can tell the Newfoundland Labrador trying to get out of one here and try and refocus, but we will play at least a 7th.
Yeah, they're going to have to be out there for another 12 or 13 minutes.
It's like a 1.5. Oh.
And Ontario seems to be running into a bit of a problem in the 8th end.
It looks like the
On
6th
pratique
over
ton
there.
petit shot.
Or the 6th end, yeah.
Semblait que je l'avais vu venir, celle-là.
Close game.
Yeah, New Brunswick
Assure-toi
just
d'avoir hack, là, pour regarder
just
les pieds à
missed a
partout.
shot
Hack.
to lay 4. They still are laying first shot almost froze into a redstone, and second shot buried in the 4-foot.
Excuse-moi, j'avais ben trop de balais. J'avais pas de
So
chance.
they do have Ontario in a bit of a pickle.
A dilly of a pickle, as Team Nunavut would say. So Ontario up by 2, but that lead very much in jeopardy on sheet C.
No, Amy. No, Amy.
Back line.
I down.
Back line.
Yep, now, yep, yep.
T'as pogné un bon morceau.
Hey.
Go, mate.
Whoa.
Go, mate.
Yep.
Go,
Yep.
mate.
Yep.
Barring a miraculous meltdown,
Hey, c'est une bonne pratique.
the winner between Ontario and New Brunswick will play Team Quebec for gold.
Good save that back.
That's less. Good.
C'est à faire plus de poids, mais pas beaucoup. Thierry! Thierry!
No,
No, Amy!
Véronique Bouchard, the lead for Team Quebec.
Gotta go hard!
Même pas tantôt.
It's her 4th year playing competitive curling
Go. Gotta go
against the
hard.
country's best in mixed.
Bounce it.
Go, Vero.
Good
She
Vero.
made two very good shots here. The tick shot, clearing the rocks off the center line. That'll allow Thierry to get out there and throw that high hard stuff that he loves to throw.
Zach Young,
2-3.
No, I held back on that a lot.
2-3.
Looks like a 2. Looks like a 2, guys.
Three.
Go a little deeper. Let's go here.
It's a 3.
No, Kate. No, Kate. Yep.
Nope.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Two.
Should be
3.
close to the save, if not a little less.
Go 3.
Kate.
Go
Hard,
3.
guys.
Hard, then.
Hard, guys.
Hard if it's 2.
Hard, guys. Hard.
Okay, well, it's fine.
Oh, oh.
If Thierry makes this peel cleanly, you may see Newfoundland and Labrador start coming around the 2 yellow ones to the left-hand side of the center and try and get some rocks into counting position.
No, no. Yep. Hard.
now it jams back.
Yep, c'est toujours celui qui tient la ligne. Yes,
Couple
hard.
yellows coming out there.
Toujours celui qui tient la ligne. Toujours, toujours, toujours.
Mike Anderson from Ontario just made a double, which cleaned up that end for Ontario's purpose, forcing Charlie Sullivan to have to draw almost to a piece of the 8-foot for 1, to be 1 down after 6.
Ontario would have the hammer in the 7th. Putting New Brunswick in a bit of a tough spot.
Yeah, it will be advantageous for Ontario with 1 up lead into the 7th end with last rock.
Yep, yep. Gotta be farther than this one. Farther than that one.
I got it. I got it.
Charlie makes his draw. He threw it heavy, but he managed to rub in off a rock at the top of the 12-foot and just hang at the back of the 8-foot.
That would have been disaster for New Brunswick.
It would have been.
5-4 on sheet C, heading into the 7th.
Work it.
Winner plays Quebec. As we wrap up the last few stones here.
Good sweep, Jenny. Good sweep, Jenny.
Go on, mate.
Good sweep.
How difficult will it be, Neil, for Quebec to keep their focus as a bit of a longer wait between the semifinal and the gold? There's been about 3 hours, 2.5 between the rest of the games this week. The gold medal game starting at 3 o'clock, so a couple of more hours.
It'll sit.
Prepare.
I don't think it'll be any problem. It'll just a time to relax for a little bit.
Good.
Get some nutrition into them. So I don't think that time difference will have an effect on any of the 4 teams that are playing this afternoon.
Clean, just clean, just clean. Whoa, whoa!
Good.
Go on, mate.
Deal for Blais. Clean house. 7th.
Pretty much center line.
Okay.
Just the way Quebec drew it up.
We're up and around now? Yeah.
Yep.
Kate, you to hold it, me to finish it in.
No, I think finished pretty straight here.
Okay. It's there.
First of 2 for Chris Ford. A great run for this team from
That's
Newfoundland
good.
and Labrador.
Kate in.
Yep.
Yes! Hard!
Yep.
Hard!
Yep.
Okay.
That's good.
Oh.
Highlight for
Yep.
the team from the Rock.
Hard! Hard! Hard!
Likely that 10-2 win over Jamie Cooey and the team from the Northwest Territories, a veteran skip. Mind you, the Northwest Territories were off that day, but convincing win. This young crew from Newfoundland and Labrador.
It was, and Chris made a fine shot here, burying around the guard, biting the 4-foot.
Lots of weight here for Robert Desjardins. And he gets 1. Wanted 2.
I was going to say, the Rocks
Come on, don't do this.
These hand-picked rocks that Team Quebec selected this morning with that first seed.
That's half-inch more,
And I
right?
expected they'll play with the same set of stones
Yeah?
this afternoon. There's no reason to change given the result of this morning's game. Obviously, they liked them, and they worked well for them.
One big and for Team Quebec in this semifinal. It was the 3rd. Scored 4 to go up 6-1. A couple of steals later, and it's 8-2.
Okay, more.
Last stone for Ford.
Kate.
Only if we have to.
Weights up.
Hey, whoa.
Weights up.
Oh, that's good.
Whoa.
Weights up.
Close.
Weights up. Weights up, Brooke. Weights up.
Oh.
As long as we're by, we're by.
Yeah.
We gotta let it sit. That's back 8, back 5.
Robert will probably hit the open rock anyway, because it's not like he has to score any more points.
All right.
Non, je suis ailleurs, mais
Mais ça, c'est le côté un
je
peu
pense
plus vite.
que ça se ressemble. Là, c'était dans les 2 cas, c'est des tracks qui avaient
He's
pas
chosen
été
to play the
pendant
draw
le
to the rings,
Donc, on veut 30, c'est ça?
Oui, avec un bon
which
raise.
is a good choice. He did throw it to the tee line in the 4-foot in the 6th end, so he does have draw weight.
Stop 4. 9's good. C'est droit. C'est
L'instant,
droit.
ça colle pas du tout.
C'est
Ça devrait
très
bien
droit.
glisser.
Oh, ça bouge
Colle
pas.
pas du tout.
Et là.
Colle pas en tout.
Hey, là.
Ça
On
bouge
va prendre
pas.
sa curl.
Pas de danger.
Oh, ça a l'air d'un train.
Instead, draw for 1 and a victory for Team Quebec, 9-2.
Well deserved. They have been one of the 3 best teams here all week and are deserving to be in the gold medal game this afternoon.
A great run for Newfoundland and Labrador. They turn their attention now to the bronze medal game this afternoon. Quebec, 11 straight wins. No losses. They'll play for gold. We'll head down to the ice and catch up with the winning team. The rink from Chicoutimi. 9-2 winners in the semifinal. The winning skip from Team Quebec, Robert Desjardins. Congratulations, a big 9-2 victory. Now, let's go back a few years. This is your 3rd time in the mixed championship. You've never been to the gold medal game before, never been to a semifinal, actually. What did those past experiences do to help your team win here?
I think there's a mistake because it's my first national mixed. I've made a few other nationals, but not in mixed.
Sorry, that's what I meant, yes.
Well, and you asked what difference there would be?
How did those experiences help you?
Well, of course, I've played a couple Briars and the World Championship mixed doubles, national mixed doubles. It changes everything. It's all about the pressure and the ability to be able to throw and still be relaxed. You know, the first few times you're trying to be relaxed, but you're not. You think you're relaxed, but you're not. And then you throw your draw and you're like, oh, I'm heavy again. But you don't feel like you're heavy. It's just you had some adrenaline pumping. But with the time, with the experience, in those situations, the adrenaline won't pump in. And then you'll be able to throw just as a Monday Night League last draw to win the game.
Well, what's the adrenaline like now? Your team's 11-0. You have 1 game now for a gold medal here at the national championship. What's that like?
Well, we've got everything we could have asked for. We're going to have the rocks we want, the same sheet, the same rocks, the hammer. So it's just taking care of business like we did the rest of the week, keeping our game plans. I know Ontario is going to mix it up, put a lot of rocks in play. We'll mix them up with them when we have to, and if we don't have to, we won't. That's all.
That game actually is still going on. Ontario with the lead. Do you have a preference on which team you like to play, New Brunswick or Ontario?
Oh, never choose. It's always bad. Even though if I have something in my mind, I'm not gonna tell. That's for sure. But they're both, great teams. Ontario team is maybe more complete teams. But Charlie Sullivan, this guy has been there forever. He's been to a lot of Briars, so that's the guy that the adrenaline won't pump in either. So, it's pretty tough to choose between these 2 teams. But they'll be tough, whatever team it is.
I'll let you watch the game so you can have a look. Thanks again. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Team Quebec in the gold medal game. Be sure to join us for that on CBC Sports, 3 p.m. Central Time, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. We'll see you then.